Hello and afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our progress broadcast. And with our progress, we strive to infuse purpose, invigorate minds, and ignite change.
All right.
All right. And today's topic will be decisions. And we're just gonna do our introductions. I'm Jeffrey Hart, the Life Champion.
All right.
David, the Life Doctor.
I'm Terrence Johnson, the Life Excavator.
And I'm Mel Pittman, the Life Encourager.
All right. So decisions. So every day, or every day of your life, you've had to make different decisions, and based on the decisions that you made in the past, kind of leads you up to where you are right now. So you can always trace back to where you are right now to your past, and I'm quite sure there's been a long list of decisions that you've made to get you to this point. It may have been good decisions, may not have been good decisions, but ultimately every day, no matter what, you make some type of decision. And so I just want to kick off the topic with that. Another thing, if you guys, all of you all that's watching right now, thank you for making the decision to click that button to watch this video.
Yeah, thank you.
Hit the button.
Hit the like. If you're watching the replay, thank you for making the decision to watch the replay. So no matter what, you're always making some type of decision. So hopefully, something that we say today could be beneficial to you. And anything you guys want to kick off with?
If you watch today, you're making the right decision.
There it is.
You know Terrence gonna finish off the process, so
Okay. So yeah. So like I said, the last couple of weeks Mel had been introducing the last couple of topics. So this topic is Jeffrey's topic today. So everybody give him a hand. Give me encouragement. Yeah.
Life encouraging.
It is. So we're talking about decisions today. And one of the things I was thinking about when Jeffrey was talking is just because, so we make decisions or we fail to make decisions.
Yeah.
Even failing to make a decision is a decision.
Yeah.
So like for those of us, and like I said, I know I'm one of them too, that are procrastinators, your procrastination is a decision not to do something. So you still decide, you just pushing or prolonging a decision longer just because you don't want to deal with the consequences.
Yeah. So this takes us back to something we talked about when we first started going live about the cost of inaction. And so what Terrence was just describing was, when we don't make a decision, that's inaction, but not making that decision will cost us something. And so decisions that we make, they are experiential learning processes for us, because everything we do, we're going to learn from it. And so we should, jump at the opportunity to make a decision, not focus on whether we're going to succeed or fail, but focus on what we're going to learn, because that's what decisions teach you. You learn more about the process and less about success and failure when you make decisions.
All right. So just going off what you were saying. So what if I'm a person that maybe I made a bad decision, and because I made a bad decision, well, in my eyes, I made a bad decision. It then makes me hesitant about trusting myself again to make better decisions, because I may have chose something in the past like, oh, that didn't work out. So I don't trust myself now to make a good decision. So now I got to get all my friends and everybody, my family, to sign off on my decision now, because I don't trust myself now.
Yeah, and that's definitely a cost if you focus on the outcome in the process. So if I focus on the outcome, then I can set up a system where I distrust myself. But if I focus on the process, I look at the steps it takes to get there, but I see all the things along the way, and I know that if I do it again, I can change the step that I took that was maybe inadequate or wrong, and I can readjust. So with decisions, we all have a readjustment process. It's just like, and put it in Jeffrey language, it's just like in sports. We make the decisions to go with a particular offense or a particular defense. And so if the offense, is stagnant, then the coach has to make an adjustment. If the defense is allowing a lot of points with the offense, then the defense has to make an adjustment. So just because somebody scores doesn't mean that they lose.
Okay, hold on. Say it again. Say that again. What you just said. Say that again.
Just because somebody scores doesn't mean that they lose or they lost.
Because see, you gotta think. There's consequences to every decision that you make. Whether or not it's a good consequence or a bad consequence, there's always something that's gonna come after you make that decision. Now, if it's if it's kind of what T was saying, if it's a bad decision, it's more or less the consequences really a learning process. That's something that you can take back and learn. So, like T was saying, if I make a bad decision, but now I'm kind of questioning whether or not, I should make, more decision. Well, what did you learn from making that decision? And then you can kind of go from there. But, like I said, each decision has, no matter what, is going to have some type of consequences. It's how you react and what lessons you learn from that consequence, going forward, you can try to make better decisions.
I think many times we don't want to, like Terrence was saying about, we don't trust ourselves and we ask friends, family members, and so on and so forth, because we don't want to be responsible for the outcome of that decision. Because then we can say, oh, well, I didn't make the decision. Y'all told me to do X, Y, Z. So really, that's on y'all.
Because you're making the decision to listen to them. See, it doesn't matter.
But that's true. But you're removed from it. You don't see it as, oh, I'm making a decision to listen to what these other people are saying. Instead, you remove yourself from the decision because you can place it on someone else.
So it's 2 points on what Mel just said. Jeffrey and Mel got two different versions of it. So what Mel's talking about is the scapegoat.
Yeah.
So in the mind of the person that doesn't trust themselves, having a scapegoat frees them of making the decision. But then the other piece to what Jeffrey said, in reality, it really doesn't free them, because they still made the choice to choose to use other people, so they wouldn't necessarily have the blame shifted to them. So it's two different lenses that we look at of. But we always talk about the power of choice. We make our own decisions, regardless of if we don't want to make a decision or if we choose to make one. Because choosing not to make a decision is still a choice.
Okay, so I got another angle to it. So what if you made a decision, but it was influenced by somebody else? So maybe somebody gave you an ultimatum and saying, if you don't do this, then this is what's gonna happen. Because sometimes we get in situations where we do get ultimatums from people. It's saying like, if you don't do things the way I want you to do them, then some bad, not bad gonna happen to you, but it's gonna be consequence that now I'm gonna treat you differently if you don't go what I want you to go on. And sometimes some people find themselves in those situations where it's like, I'm making the decision, but the decision not really what I want to do. But I don't have the strength not to make this decision because I'm afraid of the response from the other person.
I think that's a perfect example of when we learn to lose our voice. When people give us ultimatums, and the ultimatum is not favored towards us. And so you hear of ultimatums all the time in like work relationships or situationships. You get, or entanglements too, you get the ultimatum.
Entanglement.
Yeah, if you don't do what I want you to do, then this will end. If you don't do what I want you to do, you won't get this promotion. If you don't do what I want you to do, I'm gonna fire you. And so that's an important opportunity for us to focus on our principles or our core beliefs. And so, do we choose us in the right thing, or do we choose to let other people dictate how we move? And a lot of times we choose to let other people dictate how we move because of the fear of what comes behind it.
So is that a bad thing if I let someone influence? Is it always, let me say,
I gotta let you answer that one.
Is it always a bad thing to let someone influence our decisions?
I'm gonna let you answer that, Mel.
What? I asked the question.
You got the answer.
I don't think it is always a bad thing, because you think about, as a parent, you influence your children's decisions because you're trying to shape them into where they're able to make their own informed decisions. Maybe as a supervisor or a leader, you shape a person's or your colleagues or your subordinates' decisions so that they can make those decisions later and be informed. So no.
So what I'm hearing is based on the intent behind it. So my intent, so if I'm the puppet master and I'm pulling all the strings, if I'm doing it for your good, and because I see where you're trying to go, or it's for the overall development or betterment of you or humanity, that's one reason. But if I'm doing it for my own selfish needs or reasons, that's another thing. And so intent implies, the intentionality that I'm doing it, or I'm designing it for a purpose. You're trying to make your kids better people and help them be aware and conscious. So that's your intent. But if somebody's doing it for their own selfish reason or malicious reason, then that's another thing. So we just have to look at the intent behind why we do things.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I saw the comments that popped up, and one of the person was at the first one.
The ultimatum from God, yeah.
Sometimes the ultimatum is God helping you align. So ultimatums from God, that's a whole other layer.
David, don't come in here with that foolishness today. Now I will not be shouting today. Okay.
Because
David.
Because if God gives you an ultimatum, that's a different thing. Just like what Kendra was saying, that's more of an intent thing. So if God is the one giving you an ultimatum, his ultimatum is always for your good.
Mm-hmm.
You just might not want to go through the process it's going to take to get on that path to what he wants you to do. So then that kind of loops back to kind of what we've been talking about the last couple of weeks about purpose. God is always going to give you ultimatums on your purpose. And if he continually loop you back around to the same thing or the same issues and concerns are kind of thing that you're passionate about, then that's his ultimatum to you, where like this is the choice that is presented to you. Now you can continue to not accept it, but you keep looping back around to the same thing. And I think that's how that's a decision to be safe and not I'll put it this way, is a choice to be safe instead of being a servant, because God's ultimatums are always going to make you serve.
Yeah.
What we want to do is what our personal passions and intents are, not to do for other people. So I think that's like the divine line between that. But I just wanted to hit that one because that was a different take on it, because I wasn't even thinking about it.
See, David, Mr. David coming in here starting stuff again.
But that's good because it helps us identify purpose too. Like Terrence was saying, when you constantly spiraling around in this over and over, it's because you're not passing the test, or maybe you're not even answering the test. And the test is to make a decision to choose you. But if you always choose someone else, then you're not ever going to connect with what you truly supposed to do. And then we talk about all the time, you can be really good at something, but it takes you out of alignment and it's not your purpose, and it requires more of a sacrifice than a reward. And so, with those decisions, just because we're good at something, if it doesn't fulfill us, sometimes the decision is that we got to end our relationship with that particular thing. And that's not a simple decision, and that's not an easy decision, but sometimes it's the best decision, because you're going to find yourself. And people got to find themselves first before they can do justice in any relationship, whether that's in relationship with God, in a relationship with family, companions. If you don't know you, and if you're not doing what's best for you, all your other relationships will continue to have some destructiveness in it.
Mm-hmm. Now, I wanted to go back to something you said earlier about the principles, like the principles that people have. And that's what a lot of people get stuck at. They're making decisions that are not grounded in anything. Mm-hmm. So if I know my principles, I know what I value and what I stand upon, then my decisions are going to reflect that. But if I don't have a foundation of anything, then my decisions are based upon whatever my circumstances are. So I just choose and make decisions just based off what I see. But if I'm principled, my principles are going to inform my decisions. So then my principles would then cause me to make decisions that might not be popular with people around, but they're very grounded in where I'm going next, as far as my next step, as far as my future. So that's why it's easier to deal with the kind of like the blowback from people that may not understand your decision, if you know where your decisions are grounded from and why you're making those decisions.
All right, so T, I don't want to put you on the spot, man, or any of y'all, but what's a good example of that?
Of making a principled decision?
Yeah.
All right, so I got a couple of them, but I'll go here since it's on the more recent one. So when I decided to leave MC from my teaching position and quit, one of the things that bothered me is because I felt like, one, the students weren't getting what they needed, and it wasn't a way for me to do that in the role I was in. And every time I really tried to do that, then I got in trouble for doing what I was supposed to do. The other thing was that I felt that the students weren't always the right fit for the program. So then I was overextending myself, burning myself out, trying to put into students what they didn't want. And so then it made me frustrated because, like, man, why am I doing all this prep and stuff, and they don't care nothing about what I'm talking about? I'm trying to help them be better and grow, and they don't care nothing about that.
Yeah.
The other thing is from a kind of ethical standpoint, I just felt that we were not preparing them for what was to come. Really, we were teaching them things, but we weren't really getting them prepared for really what life would be outside of the program. And that bothered me because I'm always about one process, but I'm also about growth with people. Yeah. And I can't help my students grow to a point where they're ready for whatever situation comes after they graduate, then I'm not doing my job. And if it's barriers for me doing that, then this is not the environment for me. And it weighed heavy on me. And so on the outside, it's just like, you just be a professor, just teach. And that's, it is what it is, and you just deal with it. But for me, it really bothered me. And that was really one of the more challenging parts of it, because I just felt, for me, with my principles, I couldn't really operate the way I wanted to for my students, but also for me. And then for my growth too, I feel like I really couldn't do it. So that was a decision I had to make, that I don't regret it, because I know exactly why I made that decision. And two, I knew what we were trying to do with our progress. And so I wanted to be fully committed to what we were doing and not having that stress me out and burn me out to where I couldn't really put my energy into what we're building here. And so that's kind of that's why I had
to. Another example, and was more recent. It's probably me making the decision not to take a position in the military, because if I would have said yes to it, I would have been devaluing myself. And because no matter how hard I worked, how good I was at what I was doing, it wasn't ever going to be valued with the current, the leadership. And so if I would have put myself in that position again, I would have been telling, people, your value isn't worth anything, or you don't care about your work, but also that it would have brought me out of alignment, where I was going. And so sometimes I always quote stuff about dominoes, all money isn't good money, because if you end up taking a route that's not destined for you, you're going to end up facing more pitfalls and challenges because you went for the easy distraction versus the hard right decision. And so they say you don't ever supposed to turn down something. I did. And sometimes in life you got to be able to turn down something that won't be good for you, because of what other want for you. And just because other people want something for you don't mean it's for your good, it's for their good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you were talking about that, it made me think about what Keon was saying. I think it was Tuesday night. Either it was Tuesday or during the sermon Sunday, I can't remember. But he was saying one of the pastors that kind of mentored him, he told him this. He was like, your life is a sum total of your yes and no's.
Yeah.
And so basically, like, wherever you are is basically because of what you said yes to and what you said no to. And thinking about things like that, it's a lot of things that in hindsight I said yes to that I probably wish I wouldn't have said yes to, but it's something back in my past I've said no to, and looking at them again, I did yes to that instead of no. And so that's why even those decisions, whether yes or no decision, can be impactful to us too.
Yeah.
And sometimes we say no because we're afraid, and sometimes we'll say yes because of maybe losing something that we feel like I know would then push away.
Yeah. And that's the good thing about decisions. You are always going to be presented with more throughout your life. So just because you didn't make the right choice for yourself at that point in time, you will get an opportunity to make many right choices for yourself in the future. So that's why we tell people don't dwell about on the decisions that you made in the past, because they brought you to where you are now, and they've taught you so many lessons about yourself and about life. And now you recognize the patterns when you present with those life-altering decisions, and then now the ball is in your court. What do you choose? Do you choose to continue what you did in the past, or do you choose to take a different option?
Okay, so you got something different because I'm Mike.
No, I'll just sitting there thinking, going back to that quote that you said, that your life is a sum total of your yeses and nos, and it also reminded me of another quote that says, you're born looking like your parents, but you die looking like the decisions that you made. So definitely all through your life, I mean, you're gonna have to make decisions, and in the end, you're gonna look like all of the decisions that you made. So hey, you can tell whether or not you made good or bad decisions, by the way you look at the end. So yeah, that is kind of.
You have a bad decision though. If you're supposed to learn from it, is it still a bad decision?
I guess in my opinion, is really how you look at it. It's really your perspective of it, and your perspective and your attitude, afterwards. Because if you make a bad decision and you dwell on it, and going back to what we were saying earlier, if you also always get down on yourself because you made a bad decision, then probably it was a bad decision. But if you make a bad decision and you have a positive attitude about it, and your perspective on it change, and you can figure out how to make good out of it, then I don't really think that it was a bad decision, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No. And to add what you were saying, I believe that the reason why it's really not a bad decision, because you make a decision informed by the knowledge you have at that point.
Yeah.
So at the time, I may have thought it was a good decision because that's all the knowledge I had. But now that I've grown older, I know more. Now I know that wasn't the best decision, but at that time, that was the best knowledge that I knew, and that was all the tools I had. So the choice I made was reflective of what my experiences were at that point.
And saying that kind of made me remember about two years ago, I think. I had the opportunity to speak to a group of males that was graduating from high school that year. And one of the points that I gave them was to always be careful of the decisions that you make going forward. Because at that age, you're really not thinking about the consequences or what's to happen. You just make decisions and go head on. But one of the points I told them, I was like, based on what decisions that you make today will greatly, affect you, may not affect you until, 10, 15 years down the road. So, like I said, one of the points that I gave them was like, okay, every day, be careful of the decisions that you make, because you may make a decision today and, it may not affect you today, but down the road, it's going to pop back up. And, kind of like what we said, all the decisions that you made up to this point, is what got you, where you are right now. So, yeah, if any young people are watching right now, be cognizant of the decision that you make today, and kind of have a long-term view of everything that you do, because it will pop back up.
And then what I look at is when we make decisions, I look at those as teachable moments. So again, it kind of go back to perspective. If we look at every decision we make as a teachable moment, then we don't focus on it whether it was good or bad. We look at what we learned from it. because life teaches us things have to either be black or white, good or bad, right or wrong, left or right. But it's deeper than that, and it's more than that. If we add different layers to it and we look at it as learning tools, then nothing that we encounter or nothing that we take in or consume will be bad, because our perspective has shifted to everything is about learning how to navigate our walk in life. And whatever we run into on that journey is just wisdom that we gain. And it's not negative wisdom, it's not bad wisdom. It shapes your life, because you know if you do that particular thing, what you're gonna get. It's no different than us putting our finger in the socket as little kids. We learn that we got shocked, but we also learn not to put that finger in the socket again. And the wisdom behind that is when we see other kids get ready to put their finger in the socket, hey, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how I know, but don't do it.
You bad. I didn't do that. You bad as a child. Bless your mom.
I didn't put my finger in the socket because I was afraid to get shot. But I know people that put their fingers in the sockets.
So I got 2 points. I think I'm gonna go to this one first. So and this more directed toward Kendrick, because I think this is another layer to it. So what if a no from somebody
is really yes?
No, a no from somebody changes the decision you make about yourself. So if you felt like you were rejected by somebody, then you choose decisions that then reflect you internally feeling negative about yourself.
Okay.
Because just like you were saying, perspective, if at a certain point in my life, if somebody I felt rejected by somebody, or I was told no, or whatever like that, that then could then influence my future decisions about my worth and my value and my abilities. So then that could get me out. That no, depending on my perspective, can change my future decisions, because then I would take that no as a reflection of me, not necessarily a reflection of that person.
No, I like that, because and it don't necessarily apply to necessarily romantic relationships, but that's how people get in a cycle of negative relationships. So
Right.
it can be with work. We take stuff that's, I won't say beneath us, but we know doesn't, support the best in us. And then if we get in a cycle of negative relationship, we choose the partner that we know won't be able to give us the things that maybe we're looking for, whether that's support, understanding, time, love. We always choose the latter than the right thing. And then when it comes to doing what's best for ourselves, sometimes we choose to have a negative relationship with ourselves because we choose to do for others first and intentionally neglect us. And somehow in our mind, we're doing what's best for other people, and maybe we are, but we're doing a disservice to ourselves.
Yeah.
With Jeffrey, I'm gonna put up what David had real quick. Would you go ahead, T?
Okay. But no, I like the perspective, and I was thinking, because that, those decisions may come early in our life, but then they affect how things go forward, and that can kind of color our decisions in a way that we're not conscious about. But then we'll start to choose, like you said, we'll make choices that are beneath what we are able to have, but we believe that because of that rejection or that initial kind of lack of validation, whatever it was, then that then changes our perspective about ourselves, and then we make decisions accordingly because of that negative view of ourselves. And so like you were saying, it could go in relationships, it can go career-wise, it can go self-esteem, it can go in a lot of different, it could branch off into a lot of different ways. But I think that's another layer to it, to where the decision, not only just your everyday decision, but how do you view yourself, and then how you making decisions that are putting yourself in a healthy light and taking care of yourself. So it may be saying no to some things because you know that's going to be harmful to you. Making more personable decisions that really help benefit you.
Yeah. A lot of people need to look in the mirror and tell themselves, you must have forgot who you are. You must have forgot who you are. Because there's a lot of people out there that don't recognize the person that they see in the mirror because they've gotten so far away of who they were or who they, wanted to be. And sometimes that's a healthy way to wake yourself up if you must have forgot who you are, because it gives you a chance to reflect on the things that you've done, but it also is a time to shift back on the path to where you shall be.
All right, so kind of going off what what both of y'all have said. So basically, if you take a career wise or whatever.
Yeah.
So again, something happens, at a job or whatever that you're at, lay off or something like that. And you eternalize that, or maybe situations leading up to it. You eternalize that to where you're not. Well, I guess kind of going back to the decisions going forward. Okay, like I said, somebody may have said something to you at that job or in their career that it's like maybe you're not the best for this or whatever, but different. So if something, you leave that job and you going forward, you will make decisions based off of what somebody may have said to you going forward in your career. So kind of like T was saying, you'll start taking lesser jobs or whatever, or jobs in areas that you're not real passionate about. So so I guess kind of tying that into what y'all saying, that no or that rejection can influence your decisions going forward.
Yeah, because it creates a pattern. And so it's kind of like if you think about your life as a timeline, you start to put the points down and you start to label them, and you start like, okay, that happened there, and then you start to map what happened after. You're like, oh yeah, I did that after that. Oh, that happened after that. Oh yeah, I don't even know how I got into that, and then I did that, and so, but then when you trace it back, like, oh, it started right from here. Like that's when it started, right there. And so when you can start to evaluate your life, you'll start to recognize the patterns of your decisions, because we all kind of have cycles of decisions that we make. And if you really think about it, you kind of make the same types of decisions every few years. Yeah, and if you don't know why you make those decisions, then it's harder to make different decisions, because all you know is what you used to. So in a certain sense, it works for a while. As your knowledge grows, then that's when you get uncomfortable, and then you get frustrated in what you're choosing because you're like, I know this not right anymore. And like, well, why is it bothering me now when 5 years ago it wasn't bothering me at that point? Because what you knew then was different than what you know now. So the more you get to be informed about what you decide on and why you decide on it, then you start to evaluate yourself like, this is not benefiting me. I'm just making decisions because other people want me to, or because this happened and I feel like I might not be as prepared for things that I thought I would. But then you start to see the underlying issue or what's really supporting your decision. And a lot of it is fear or your rejection or your hurt that's influencing your decision.
And people have to recognize kind of what Terrence was saying, the story of their lives. Like he said, it comes in cycles. Every few years you come up or you're presented with something that allows you to continue to repeat the same patterns, or you make a decision to shift and change the trajectory of your life. And so that's what we have to uncover. We have to uncover the patterns of our lives and be able to shift out of that pattern to do what we were destined to do. Because if you don't, history repeats itself. You're gonna continue to repeat history. And if you look at it, everybody out there that's listening, look at the type of job that you've taken, and look at the type of job you've taken that you wasn't happy or satisfied with. Well, look at the type of relationships you were in that maybe you wasn't happy or satisfied with, and then that shows you the story of your life. That shows you the pattern of your life. Because, like I said, you're presented with those situations. You just have to be able to recognize them.
Yeah, and like what you were saying before, recognizing, that goes the awareness piece. The more you're aware of your decisions, then that is easier to shift to better decisions, or more informed decisions that not informed by past pain. I guess that's the
way. And then once you align with the trajectory of your life, it's easy to see the patterns that you once, or the past that you once chose. It's easier for you to decline those paths now and stay on the right trajectory. And you laugh about those things now. When we're presented with some of the things that we used to be presented with in the past, I tell Terrence and I laugh about it. I was like, yep, I would have went for that a few years ago, but not now.
Yeah.
What you got, Millie? It looks like you thinking.
I'm over here like, I'm not laughing at my past decision. I want to be able to laugh.
I'm not even going to.
So I thought about another question. I guess this that we could go around. So,
He's gonna come up with one of these dang Rubik's Cube questions.
No, it ain't gonna be. It ain't really no real complex question. I guess what I was gonna ask everybody, like, what's the best decision you feel like you made in your life up to this point?
See, Rubik's Cube question.
But that ain't that hard.
That's way complicated than you think it is.
One of the best decisions I think I've made is to live in another country.
Okay.
That was one of, it's not the best, but one of the best decisions I've made.
Mine gonna be a real simple answer.
Oh, Lord.
Choose me instead of choosing what others wanted me to do. So choosing me, because in choosing me, I found my path, I found my purpose, and I found the right trajectory of my life. I got my map, and I'm moving forward.
All right, Jeffrey, you going?
Yeah. Like I said, my internet is choppy, so I'm trying. The best decision that I've made. Let's see. I guess based on where I'm at now, I would have to say making the decision to attend MSU.
Hail State?
Because Hail State. And I guess the reason I say that is because, hey, that's where I met my wife at. So
look
at that. Look at it.
And so, you kind of look back and, you look at all the decisions, whatever that you made leading up to that. And, based on, what you have now. And I catch myself just looking at, my two kids right now, like, okay, if I had made a different decision of, going somewhere else or, deciding to do something else. Would I have these two, wonderful kids right here? So,
Look at that. Put the eyes on them. Put the eyes on them. Put the eyes on them.
Good answer. Good answer.
So you're just kind of looking back and it's like, okay, yeah, I made the right decision. So yeah.
Somebody's gonna get dinner tonight.
Look at that. Look at that.
Good answer, Jeff.
I might get a gold star today. Oh boy.
Look. That's the question.
Yeah, I'm coming. I look different head, I'm letting him get all his out.
You can't top his, Terrence. You can't.
No, I can't.
Wife and children.
Yeah, I can't. I can't compete with none of that. So I would say, actually, I got two. So one I would say is going to Jamaica a couple years ago. That really opened my eyes to how you can be in a different country, but you can still be around people. Like the similarities were so great, even though they in Jamaica, I came from USA. It was a lot of things that were similar, and it really changed my worldview. And that really gave me the passion to really travel more and see more of the world. And that's one of the things when we get through the pandemic, I really want to get back to doing. Is seeing more people and more culture and stuff like that. The other thing I would say would be going to therapy a couple years ago. That really jump started a lot of my decisions that I've been making after that, even to this point now. A lot of my growth has been choosing myself in situations and not necessarily going on what people want me to do, but what's best for me and my purpose and kind of like where I'm going next. And so that process was really life altering because I really think it saved my life. Like it really did. Because I was stuck in a cycle of just overextending myself and burning myself out, and trying to do everybody else and just pretty much sacrificing what I wanted. And now I can move into this phase being more intentional about how I help. I'm still passionate about doing that, but then also like what do I need, and then what do I really see is for the vision for myself going forward. So yeah. So I ain't got Jeffrey testimony, but
he getting rewarded with lunch, Terrence. Jessica, can
you? Yeah, I see it.
I'm hungry too. My stomach growling. But you two talked about choosing yourselves. I think I have made the decision. I think I've always chosen myself, but not for the right reasons. I was choosing myself to spite other people because other people tried to place their expectations on me. So I'm like, well, to show you otherwise, I'm going to choose me. I'm going to do what I want to do. But now I choose me because I see that I have to be the one to walk the path and no one else can walk the path for me. So the decision to change the reason why I choose me has been one of the best decisions.
Yeah. And then kind of, going off of that, choosing yourself and choosing, to better yourself. I mean, you at the same time, you're choosing to better everybody else around you. Because if you're the best version of yourself, then everybody else around you can get that. And in turn, maybe you helping them out to be better, also.
Read my mind. Normally, me and T doing it, not Jeffrey read my mind. Go ahead, Jeffrey. You talking to me?
Yeah, but because I just kind of another decision, to join our progress. I mean, making that decision, has made me a better person also, because I mean, this is what we do. That's our goal, is to better the people around us, and so it starts with us. We have to choose ourselves to be the best version of ourselves in order to help everyone around us, and kind of going off of the the principles, awareness, alignment, shift, and community. If we can better ourselves and better everybody else around us, then our communities and everything is better also. So yeah, just making a decision to better yourself has kind of like T mentioned a few months ago, the ripple, it just goes out. So yeah, I don't see anything wrong with choosing yourself to be better.
I didn't choose our progress, but I made a decision to let it be chosen for me.
Who chose our progress for you now, Mel? But I don't know what you're talking about.
Bailey makes the decisions for me. Mel,
no.
And I make the decision to say okay.
Stop. You chose our progress when you decided to edit the journal.
Dr. Bailey be bullying me, y'all. I just want y'all to know. And now he has brought in Dr. Johnson and Mr. Hart.
Look, like I told Jeffrey, and like I tell everybody, look, once you get connected in our progress, you just get caught up in it. Just get
no, T, I'm finna hit it real hard now. If you're gonna be bullied for Jesus.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Now, Mia.
What? I didn't see. Put it back up there.
No, that's what Davey said.
Look, I wish I could put the hands up like I can do on Zoom. I would have put my hands up like that.
There you go, Mel. Appreciate it. Well, we got other plans for you too, Mel. We got other plans for you. It's an office on 2633 Ridge.
Let's go to the next
204.
Next, come on, Dr. Johnson. What's next? What's the next question?
Look, we got more than two. We got three, so we not already agreed on this thing now. We not already agreed now.
The decision is yours, Mel. The decision is yours.
Yeah, don't start. Don't make me start on you.
Okay, all right, yeah. We can move on.
We're gonna open the doors for you. Will there be one? Mel, will you be one today? Are you ready to receive our progress? Huh? Look, while the blood is running warm in your veins.
Decisions, Mel. Sometimes we make excellent ones. Sometimes we just get learning lessons. Either way, you're gonna move forward. You're gonna reshift. You're gonna make the adjustments necessary for the trajectory of your life. You're gonna reset. You're gonna recommit to the things that you're supposed to do for you. And once you recommit to yourself, everything else works itself out.
He's talking to y'all. He's not talking to me. He's talking to y'all out there in the audience. See what? That wasn't directed to Mel. I just want y'all to know.
I'm talking to everybody. I just happen to call your name Mel.
That's what I'm saying. They think you talking to me. No, receive it. He's talking to
everybody. This is for everybody. This is for everybody.
Oh.
Jeff, that was for you too. Receive it. Hide it in your heart.
I got it.
Oh, look, before we wrap up, look, everybody thank Jeffrey. This is his topic today, y'all.
Jeffrey, good job. Look, that's why Jeff came. That's why he chose this topic so he can come out on top.
Maybe you can come up with a topic for next week if you want to.
Look, we can put our cash app now, y'all. Want to bless us now? We can put in Jesus' name.
We are gonna have to come up with a business cash app though, since we don't
we're gonna receive that now, because if y'all want to sow into good ground, we'll have it.
The last thing we'll leave you with, we're producing a lot of content right now You're gonna start to see some of it soon. So if you need, content produced, and it's everything that we do is focused on our core principles: awareness, shift, alignment, and community. If you need iProgress, or if you want iProgress to collaborate with you on some projects, just get in touch with us, via our website or our email address, which you can find on our Facebook page or our website. Because like I said, this is the year of shift for iProgress. We're not shifting because we're trying to stay stagnant. We're shifting because we started crawling, walking, and now we're running. And so we want to run and help be of service and make what you have better too. Finish it up. Finish it up, Terrence. I know he was coming behind me. Go ahead.
What? No, I'm just saying, just like what Kendrick was saying as far as collaborations and stuff. Do you wanna announce it now? Do you wanna wait?
Because it ain't came out yet.
Okay, so like we have just completed a collaboration that we're very proud of, that will definitely help our community, especially our students, that we will have to announce to y'all shortly. We also have another project that we're closing on now that will benefit our college students too. So we will be able to let y'all know about that too. And then also, like I said, the collaboration with the podcast, I'm co-hosting with David, The Daily Perspective. That's a collaboration between iProgress and Daily Perspective. And also he will talk more about the collaboration that him and his wife have with VFit about like Kendrick is now vegan, and so a vegan lifestyle. About like healthy eating, healthy exercising, and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be doing more collaborations with them.
Intern.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said that. I can't say. Oh. Yeah, I already said it.
Well, I guess I was too excited.
Don't forget about the naming too. We're trying to name followers. No, we've only had 2 suggestions. We want more.
And so we'll tell you the reason behind it, because we're about to get it. We're about to start. Selling. Merchandise with all the. It's about 50 quotes that we already have that we've accumulated from iProgress, and those quotes are going to be on shirts. But we want, the people that's following us to, so we want to be able to identify you. And then, all of the quotes that we have on the different, shirts that we're going to produce, you'll be able to see all of that.
Yeah. And this is why it's important. We really see the Take the Journey group as our community. And what we want you all not only just watch us and watch the lives, but we want you all to build relationships with each other. Because, like Jeff was saying earlier, it's, our individual progress puts us in a position to help other people too. So as we get better, we can do better things, but we can better our community too. So it's some community focused things we want to do with the Take the Journey group to help our community, that we want to get more involvement to kind of get things rolling with that, because we're kind of getting closer to the holiday season. It's something that we really want to do with the Take the Journey group to help the community, and we need your involvement so we can kind of get that off the ground. And so it's not just for you to just watch us, or we're just trying to sell you stuff. We really want to better you and better your life, but also we want to make an impact on the community. So please get involved with the Take the Journey group. We have a lot of things we want to do, and so it starts with you all. It starts with everybody that support us. Like I said, we really appreciate y'all motivated from week to week, because it's not the easiest thing to get on here and talk twice a week.
Yeah, we've been going strong for about 9 months.
Before,
right? We've been going strong since January, so about what, 9 months?
Yeah, we are good about. I think we're up about like 60 lives now. Probably more than that. But
yeah. But I'm gonna shut up. One of the things that we want to take the journey group members to take over, to take the journey group.
Yeah.
So to take the journey group was never designed for us to, I guess, manage it. To take the journey group was to plant the seed, so everybody in the group will create the community that y'all want to create and post things, talk to one another, and it'll be a uplifting and encouraging community. That's where we want to take the journey group to be. So everybody has permission to post. Everybody has permission to add different layers to it. We just want y'all to add them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and give your name, please. Your name suggestions, please. And it's a great incentive. We're building community. And you get an autograph, relationship journal from Dr. Bailey, and a free session with Dr. Johnson.
So yeah, and it's free 99. It's free.
Yeah.
You want it.
It's
priceless. I got both, y'all, so you won't be disappointed. I got the journal. I'm not and I don't have
you should be like 75% done with the journal too.
Oh, I'm done with it.
Oh, you done with it?
Oh, yeah, I ain't got
okay. So I know what we're doing next week then.
No, we'll talk about that offline. And then I got the free. See how he be bullying me? I told y'all he be bullying me. But I got a free the free consultation with Dr. Johnson, and y'all, it's worth it. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm. She on the way. She gonna be ready when January 1st hit. Y'all gonna see some stuff. She gonna be everybody gonna get a piece of this Facebook Live. So she gonna be introducing her own topic after a while.
Wait, what? See, he started bullying too. Dr. Johnson on bullying now too. See?
Yes, Lord. Won't he do it?
As always, we definitely enjoyed y'all today. Be looking forward to us on Monday with another great topic, Monday and Thursday next week. And, continue to move forward, continue to put one step in front of the other one, and continue your journey. You are worth the wait.
And to kind of piggyback off of that, once again, thank all of y'all for making the decision to take some time out of your day to come and listen to what we have to say. And like I said, if you're watching the replay, thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to what we have to say. And I'm leaving you with this, the quote that I said earlier. You're born looking like your parents, but you die looking like the decision that you made. So make some good decisions. See y'all later.
Y'all be blessed.
Amen.